Thanks to RuPaul's Drag Race, drag queens have been getting the recognition they deserve in recent years. But who are the most influential drag performers that have ever lived?
The Lady Chablis once was Benjamin Knox, but by the time he was a teenager, he had chosen a life and career as a female impersonator.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 drag icons in pop culture history. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we will be including the pioneers of drag that inspired everyone's favorite reality show and made a name for themselves far before it even began. We've tried to create a well-rounded list of drag icons from various decades, including drag queens, performance artists who heavily influenced drag culture, and LGBTQ+ activists who fought to keep drag alive.
I'm not especially real looking, and I'm certainly not the most beautiful, but you know what? I've got my own thing.
Number 10. Misunderstood. A fierce queen who started out in the 1980s, Misunderstood is New York City based and has been especially featured in the East Village since the 90s.
Did you expect to find glamorous ladies like me just wandering around the streets?
I've been looking for you.
Really?
I've been looking for you.
Throughout her career, she frequently performed at the Pyramid Club and Wigstock, an open-air drag festival that also started in the 80s. Not only did she wow the world of drag when she performed on stage, but she also moved on to appear in various films and television shows, including Tu Wong Fu and Sex and the City. Her work on the stage influenced many, and she is a legend to be remembered.
You like natural girls like me? Do you think I could be the next Ivory spokesmodel?
Yeah, you can do. I mean, shit, you can do anything you want.
Number 9. The Lady Chablis. If you've never heard of the Lady Chablis, it's best you start doing your drag queen herstory homework.
Okay, cameraman, are you ready? Zoom in on this, baby.
Born in 1957 and passed in 2016, Brenda Dale Knox, who was known professionally by her stage name, became one of the first drag performers to gain and be accepted by a larger audience.
I'm the Lady Chablis. Hear me roar.
Look out.
Alongside her drag career, she was also an actress and author. She starred as herself in the 1997 film version of Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, and she also wrote an autobiography titled Hiding My Candy, the autobiography of the Grand Empress of Savannah. A triple threat indeed.
I'm a female impersonator, and it's not to make fun or to pick and poke at the females. It's my salute to women.
Number 8. Pepper LaBeija.
I am Pepper LaBeija, the legendary mother of the House of LaBeija.
Born in the fall of 1948 and passed in May of 2003, Pepper LaBeija was both a drag performer and fashion designer.
The House of LaBeija is the legendary house above all of them. I have the most members, I'm the most popular. New York City is wrapped up in being LaBeija. So, it speaks for itself.
Known as the last remaining queen of the Harlem drag balls, she took over the House of LaBeija from Crystal LaBeija in 1971. She stayed in this position and was referred to as the Mother for 30 years, being looked up to by queens of all types.
And as the LaBeijas became a house, we started calling ourselves houses after the fashion houses.
Throughout her career, she won over 250 trophies and awards, and she is also one of the main stars of the iconic 1990 film Paris is Burning.
Bring the cameras closer, Mr. DeMille. I'm ready for my close-up.
Number 7. Crystal LaBeija.
Where's Miss Sabrina? Because I'll sue the bitch. Did you sign a release? I will sue. No, I didn't sign a release. And if she releases any picture on me, I will sue the fool.
As a founder of the House of LaBeija, Crystal was a trailblazer when it came to both drag culture and race relations in the United States. During the 60s and 70s, LaBeija made several appearances on the Manhattan drag circuit and became one of the first African-American queens to be crowned Queen of the Ball.
The judges didn't have any taste. It was with you that the judges was with, darling.
She also eventually became Miss Manhattan and competed against queens from across the United States in the 1968 documentary The Queen. While she died in 1982, her legacy is long-lasting, as evidenced by Aja's Snatch Game performance as her in the 3rd season of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars.
Where's Sabrina? I will sue the bitch, darling.
Number 6. Lady Bunny. With accomplishments such as being the founder of Wigstock, creating multiple disco hits, and becoming a club kid in New York City, it's no wonder that Lady Bunny has made it so close to the top of this list.
I guess I'm best known for organizing Wigstock, an outdoor festival which ran for New York City for about 20 years.
A comedy and drag legend, Bunny started her career alongside RuPaul in Atlanta, and the world has loved her ever since.
I gravitated towards other drag queens, moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where I became RuPaul's roommate. she's only a year older than me, but she will always be that 1 year older.
She appeared in the web series Queens of Drag NYC, and she is one of the most famous New York queens to ever sashay onto the scene. Nowadays, you can catch her performing with Bianca Del Rio at XL Nightclub.
I'm gonna tell you, Bianca and I are both really, really nervous tonight because these girls are coming out here from season 8, and you all know how tough season 7 is to top.
Number 5, Leigh Bowery.
Why don't you go and put something else on to wow the customers?
What a good idea.
This Australian artist was born in 1961, passed in 1994, and he worked not only as a performer, but a club promoter and fashion designer too.
What a gorgeously satisfying day this has been, and so many bargains. I'm wearing I guess you'd call it an après-ski outfit for this rather chilly evening.
If you've heard of the English painter Lucian Freud, then you might recognize Leigh for being a model for a large amount of his works. Leigh also had a prominent disc and videography, and influenced many other performers like Boy George, Alexander McQueen, Lady Bunny, and Lady Gaga, in addition to inspiring the postmodern tranimal drag movement. In his 14 years of activity, he made a huge impact on both the drag community and the entire world.
I was channeling Leigh Bowery today.
Girl, it was Cam.
No, it was Leigh Bowery, girl. Did you see those glasses I was wearing? It was Leigh Bowery.
Number 4, Divine. A character actor, performer, and drag queen, Divine was destined to take on the world. In Divine's early life, he worked as a woman's hairdresser, which catapulted his interest in drag.
Gentlemen, the verdict is guilty on all 10 counts of first-degree stupidity. The penalty phase will now begin.
Divine moved on to perform in several films by legendary director John Waters, such as Pink Flamingos and Female Trouble, and afterwards began to appear in the worlds of theater and music.
She was simultaneously sexy and monstrous. Is she gonna screw me or eat me?
Known as the drag queen of the century, as quoted by People magazine, Divine was an influence in the community that will not soon be forgotten. Without Divine, many drag queens would not be where they are today.
Take a look around and tell me what you find.
Number 3, Mother Flawless Sabrina.
The one, the only flawless Mother Sabrina, who has been around since the dawn of creation.
This drag queen was not only flawless, but a pioneer for transgender people and an LGBTQ+ icon and activist.
The kids now are standing on the shoulders of giants, and you are one of those giants.
I stood on the shoulder of giants.
Flawless Sabrina was allegedly arrested more than 100 times as she persevered to normalize the heavily stigmatized drag, transgender, and gay communities in New York City and across the US. She acted as a mentor for other drag queens and trans people, and even ran an underground drag pageant called The Nationals. She passed away in 2017, but her legacy lives on in a website dedicated to compiling her life's work. Number 2, Marsha P. Johnson. A prominent figure of the gay liberation front, Marsha P. Johnson played an important role in paving the way for drag queens today.
Darling, I want my gay rights now. I think it's about time the gay brothers and sisters got their rights, and especially the women.
Johnson was an outspoken activist and played an important role during the Stonewall Uprising, a series of protests that ensued after police raided the Stonewall Inn in New York City. Alongside her close friend Sylvia Rivera, Johnson co-founded the street transvestite, now transgender, Action Revolutionaries, also known as STAR.
Marsha and I thought one day we needed to do something for our own. That's where STAR was born, Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries.
Johnson died in 1992, but her legacy lives on, with several tributes dedicated to her memory. RuPaul has described Johnson as a true drag mother who paved the way for all of them in an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Back in 1969, at the Stonewall riots, it was a drag queen who had the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent to dig her heels in and start a revolution.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Shade comes from reading. Reading came first. Reading is the real art form of insult.
Wish me luck as you wave me goodbye. Cheerio, here I go on my way. Wish me luck as you wave me goodbye.
Number 1, RuPaul.
Guess who's back in the house? Here's my black in the back.
RuPaul has introduced a whole new generation to drag with his reality show, and his legendary career has launched him up to become supermodel of the world. Not only is he an influential drag queen, but in 2017, he made Time's list of the top 100 most influential people in the world.
Drag has always served a purpose. We mock identity. We're shapeshifters. We are God in drag, and that's our role, is to remind people of that.
He has several studio albums and tons of hit singles, and has been featured in numerous films and television shows.
Find out what it is you have that makes you unique and special, and cultivate that, and make that, bring that out, and then bring that to the party.
His work in the drag and LGBTQ+ communities is inspiring to say the least, and with Drag Race, he is giving modern queens a platform and revolutionizing queer representation on TV.
Mother, I am beautiful! You are gorgeous!
He has the ultimate charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
And what people say, usually that has nothing to do with you, it has everything to do with them. That's where you learn the tools to breathe, laugh, and repeat.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.